Buddy. Good. Well, I think the number one thing that, we wanted to get from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2 was to improve, as a team. I think we made some improvement. I'm certainly not disappointed in the improvement that we made, as a team, but at the same time, I think we're not satisfied with where we'd like to be, and we need to focus on continued improvement. And I still think that one of the key words, for this team with so many young guys, especially on defense and special teams, is, what does it mean to mature? You can physically mature and get bigger and stronger, and I don't think that's going to happen a lot, but I don't think that most of the guys that we're talking about, we're really talking about the fact that they're not big enough or strong enough or fast enough, and then they get educated on what is expected of them. Whether it's how you finish plays or the effort you give or the toughness you play with or how you execute at your position, or probably the real part of it is what sense of ownership do you take individually for doing your job and do it the right way and focus on doing it the right way and develop the right habits all the time and with consistency. And don't do it because we say that's the way you do it, but because you believe and that's what you need to do to be a good football player. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that we need to continue to work on, with some of our players so that we get more players that play with the kind of maturity that's going to be necessary to play with consistency against the competition that we have to play against. Last week we were really focused on, probably throwing the ball. This week we wanted to, play a game-like situation for, I think we played 50-some plays in the beginning, just like a game. Ones against the twos both ways. Whatever situation came up, we played it, did the substitutions, the kicking. I think, a large part of that was we have been trying to, in practice, which we haven't really done in the past with more experienced guys as specialists, is just create situations in practice where they have to run in and kick a field goal, make a punt, whatever. And that's what we wanted to do today. Instead of just having a punting period, where it was a situational punt or punt return, just everything had to be run off the sidelines and do it like a game, like you have to make one shot at it. And we got quite a few of those situations in today. We tested the running game a little bit more today, probably as much to see if we could stop it on defense as to see if we could run it on offense. And so we didn't really throw it as much today, but it was really by design. Last week we had probably twice as many passes. We didn't do as many 2-minute situations. We didn't do as many third down situations, but more game-like situations in this, scrimmage today. So we had a couple guys that, got nicked a little bit. Chapman, came out with a thigh bruise, which he'll be all right in a couple days. Trent Richardson bruised his shoulder. He could have come back and played in the scrimmage, but we didn't have him come back. And he may be out for, a day or two, but we're going to have 2 days off, here Sunday and Monday. So we'll get a lot of guys healed up. We had a couple guys that didn't scrimmage, but the same guys that have been out, Milner and Sims. Basically, it was good to get, Minzy to go through, the scrimmage today. So he really has worked the last, 3 practices and held up okay in the scrimmage today, and hopefully we can keep building on him. And I think our team needs rest, right now. This is kind of the way we've always done it, is we don't give them a lot of days off. We've only had 1 day off since we started camp, but we do that to be able to accumulate 2 days rest for them at this time, which I think does a lot more good for them in terms of their recovery. So there's a lot of things that we can learn from them this scrimmage. There was a lot of situational mistakes made that players are going to learn from, and hopefully they can all learn from it, and we'll continue to get better.
Yeah, Coach, can you just evaluate how the kickers and punters looked today? And
they did a nice job today. I don't know exactly the stats. I didn't look at them before I came up here, but I know that we made most of what we should have made in terms of field goals. Cade missed, I think, a 52-yarder, but he made one. from 52. That would have been good probably from a lot more. You know, Shelley did a good job. I think he made most of what he was supposed to make. Do you know what they were? Because we kicked a bunch. What's that? We kicked a bunch. And, you know, both punters were much better today. You know, both of those guys have done a good job. And, you know, Cody Mandel has been a little more consistent. But, you know, Jay probably, when he does it right, he really does it well. But we just got to keep working on the consistency.
Coach, could you tell us what you saw today from the safety competition, Lester, Lowry, some of those candidates?
Well, you know, it's like always. You know, I can't watch individuals out there, you know, that much during the scrimmage. I like to watch the film and, you know, see how they did. I think we played a little bit better in the back end today. All those guys played in some role, you know, with the first team, whether it was a nickel or dime or whatever. I just think that we got to get everybody playing with more consistency. We didn't give up as many big plays today, which is a good sign. But we still had our share of mental errors and need to get more guys to take ownership to do their job on a more consistent basis.
Coach Saban, when you talk about more game-like situations, could you just talk about how Greg McElroy performed today, and does that sort of favor his skill set, where there's, you know, the more realistic it is, the better he plays a little bit?
Well, he played very well today. You know, I know if we pass out the stats, he threw 2 interceptions, but one was a tip ball and the other one was 4th down to win the game at the end of the game, where he just kind of had to throw it up because we had to make a play on 4th down or the game was over. But, you know, he played very well. You know, A.J. has played, you know, very well, and Phillip Sims continues to make progress. And, you know, the way we tried to work those guys is, you know, Greg gets 2/3 of the work with the ones, and A.J. gets 1/3 of it, and 2/3 with the twos, and Phillip gets 1/3 with the twos and the threes. So, you know, trying to get them all a little bit more work. And since A.J. has never played, you know, with the ones, I think he needs to be able to play with those guys some too, in case that circumstance comes up in the future.
Coach, in the past, I know Lee last year said that the wind patterns in the stadium can be difficult for kickers. Do you know the new addition, has that had any impact in the wind patterns or anything that has any impact on kickers?
We got so many issues with our young guys. You know, we're still trying to get them to forget about what they wore at the prom, you know, last spring, and understand that they're in college now. And, you know, wind patterns are something that comes down the road. You know, it's almost like when you take accounting, you take accounting 1, 2, and 3 if you're an accounting major. You know, we're in pre-accounting right now. All right, so the wind pattern comes up in accounting 3 is what I'm trying to say.
Anybody else?
Going back to the specialists, at what point do you make that? You said after the scrimmage you were going to try to make some decisions on who you're going to coach moving forward. Are those positions the same as others, or are you kind of taking a different view of those two?
No, I don't think that, you know, we didn't make that statement with a gun to our head, like we have to make a decision right now, or you all are going to throw me off the cliff. All right, so, you know, we're going to make the decision when it's the right time to make the decision for our team, and when somebody, you know, sort of clearly makes a statement that they can take ownership for doing a job. And, you know, competition is good for the team, and both guys are kicking in both situations, and so are both punters. So kind of evaluate how they did today when we look at the film, and, you know, kind of go from there.
Thanks, Coach.
Is that it? You all getting easy in your old age.